Right now, as you sit watching this, a silent fire is burning inside your body. It is low-grade, chronic systemic inflammation, and it is slowly accelerating your biological clock. But what if the ultimate fire extinguisher isn't a pharmaceutical drug, a restrictive diet, or an expensive supplement? What if it is already built directly into your anatomy? Welcome to the science of the vagus nerve, your body's master switch for turning off inflammation. To understand why this matters for your health span, we first have to look at what inflammation actually does. Acute inflammation is a lifesaver. It is the cellular army rushing to heal a cut or fight off an infection. But chronic inflammation is entirely different. It is like leaving a garbage disposal running continuously until the motor burns out. Over time, this constant immune activation damages healthy tissues, accelerates cellular aging, and drives nearly every major chronic disease from heart disease to neurodegeneration. Enter the vagus nerve. The word vagus actually means wandering in Latin, and it is aptly named. It is the longest cranial nerve in your body, starting at the base of your brain and wandering down through your neck, chest, and abdomen, branching out to touch nearly every major organ along the way. It is the superhighway of the parasympathetic nervous system, commonly known as our rest and digest system. For decades, medicine viewed the nervous system and the immune system as completely separate entities. But pioneering research over the last 20 years completely shattered that view. Scientists discovered a biological circuit called the inflammatory reflex. When your body detects tissue damage or infection, immune cells release signaling proteins called cytokines. These cytokines send distress signals up the vagus nerve directly to the brain. The brain immediately processes this information and fires an automated response back down the vagus nerve. This return signal tells the spleen and other organs to stop producing inflammatory cytokines. In short, the vagus nerve acts like a biological brake pedal on your immune system. When the nerve is active, inflammation stops in its tracks. When the nerve is weak or inactive, the brake fails and the fire keeps burning. This brings us to one of the most powerful metrics you can track to measure this system: heart rate variability, or HRV. Most people think your heart beats like a metronome, ticking off 60 steady beats every single minute. But a healthy heart is actually erratic. The time interval between every single heartbeat constantly fluctuates. That variation is HRV. High variability means your nervous system is flexible, resilient, and under the strong control of the vagus nerve. Low HRV, on the other hand, means your vagus nerve is dormant or overwhelmed. Your heart is locked into a rigid, stressed rhythm. It is the physiological equivalent of driving a car with one foot pressed firmly on the gas pedal and the other riding the brake simultaneously. Research consistently shows that individuals with higher HRV have lower levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6. So how do we hack this system? How do we tone the vagus nerve, increase our HRV, and actively suppress systemic inflammation? The answer is as close as your next breath. Because the vagus nerve innervates the heart and lungs, breathing is our direct remote control for the nervous system. Specifically, the length of your exhales relative to your inhales dictates which side of your nervous system is in charge. When you inhale, your heart rate naturally speeds up because the sympathetic nervous system activates slightly. When you exhale, your heart rate slows down because the vagus nerve releases acetylcholine, a calming neurotransmitter that acts directly on the heart's pacemaker cells. By simply making your exhales longer than your inhales, you trick your body into engaging the vagus nerve on demand. Let us look at a simple, clinically proven protocol you can do anywhere, anytime. It is called resonance frequency breathing, often simplified as box breathing or the 4-7-8 method. The core mechanism is simple: you breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4 seconds, hold your breath gently for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 to 8 seconds. When you maintain this pattern for just 5 to 10 minutes a day, you stimulate the vagus nerve repeatedly. Think of it like doing bicep curls for your autonomic nervous system. Over weeks and months, this consistent practice increases your baseline vagal tone, permanently raises your resting HRV, and drives down chronic inflammation markers throughout your entire body. But how do you know if your protocol is actually working beneath the surface? How can you track whether your efforts are truly slowing down your rate of biological aging? This is where objective testing becomes essential. To truly know if your lifestyle changes are moving the needle on your health span, you need to measure your biological age directly at the cellular level, rather than just relying on your chronological age. This brings us to the TruDiagnostic test, the definitive gold standard solution for measuring biological age and tracking your rate of aging. TruDiagnostic uses advanced epigenetic testing to analyze your DNA methylation patterns. By evaluating these chemical tags on your genes, it gives you a precise readout of your true biological age and utilizes the revolutionary Dunedin Pace algorithm to calculate the exact speed at which your body is currently aging. By combining daily vagus nerve protocols like breathwork with advanced testing from TruDiagnostic, you move away from guesswork. You can test your baseline inflammation and biological age, implement your HRV training, and then retest to see the physical proof of your biological reversal. You are no longer just hoping you are living healthier, you have the hard data to prove it. Beyond breathwork, there are other surprising ways to stimulate the vagus nerve and boost vagal tone. Cold exposure, such as a 30-second cold shower at the end of your normal routine, instantly triggers a vagal response. Humming, singing, and even loud gargling activate the vocal cords and muscles in the back of the throat, which are physically intertwined with vagal fibers. Small habits create profound physiological shifts. The takeaway here is empowering. You are not a passive victim of your genetics or chronological age. Your nervous system is plastic, your vagus nerve can be trained, and your inflammatory response can be consciously managed. By mastering your breath, you master your biology. Now that you know how to calm your nervous system and reduce inflammation from the inside out, your next step is to understand how your cells clean up their internal waste. Click on the video on your screen right now to discover the ultimate cellular recycling protocol for reversing cellular fatigue.